Topping our lineup here on The Now, with low pay, teachers are struggling to afford to live in our communities. But one nonprofit's now stepping in to make owning a home a reality for more of them. And there's a new push to change big skyscrapers in our cities across the country. Why some say their designs and their lights are putting wildlife in danger. And look, we're all just really attached to our phones these days that you probably just don't think twice about it when you pull it out at a restaurant. But we're going to show you how restaurants across the country are trying to stop us from doing that this Mother's Day.
Thank you, Chris. I'm Amanda Starrentino. You're watching The Now Indy on RTV6. All week long, we've highlighted foster families and organizations working to help foster children in the state of Indiana. It's our way to recognize Foster Care Awareness Month. Our Alyssa Donovan spoke to several foster families, and they have some advice for anyone thinking about fostering.
Being prepared to open your home for children and loving them like they are your very own, and then seeing them walk out the door is the hardest thing in foster care.
You're dealing with other people's DNA, and you're dealing with other people's family history and their personalities.
It's absolutely challenging. There's no question that it's a challenging thing.
Those challenges made easier by support systems here in central Indiana.
There's a lot of organizations that want to help people who want to be foster families, you know.
The best advice these foster parents can give:
ask questions. There's local families that are willing to sit down, welcome you into their home, sit down and talk with you.
We had talked to other foster families and families that have adopted other kids, so we had some people with experience that talked to us about it, so that certainly helped.
So I would just say we let the fear hold on to us for a while, and not to do that.
Each family has a different story, a different reason they began fostering. But everyone says the same thing. They're grateful they took the leap because the reward far outweighs the risk.
There's times where it's hard. I wouldn't change any of it for a moment, for the world. I've loved every bit of it.
I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
A gray day may have you checking the calendar here, but yes, we are into the month of May. Those clouds, though, have just kept a lid on the temperatures all day long. Look at where we are right now. We've got numbers in the 50s all across central Indiana, 52 in downtown. Average highs about 20 degrees warmer than that. 54 in Columbus and 53 right now in Tipton. It's all because of those mostly cloudy skies, trying to thin out those skies just a little bit here around Fowler. And then as we work our way back to the northwest, even though we've got the clouds, you notice we don't have any rain to go along with those. So as you head out this evening, not going to need the umbrella, but certainly the jacket. Our temperature 51 degrees for you at 7 o'clock. Will slowly fall back into the upper 40s by 11 o'clock, and eventually some locations dipping down into the 30s. Don't think we'll have to be dealing with any frost. That will be farther to the north, but 39 in Peru, right around 40 degrees for you in Kokomo, 44 in Columbus, and 42 in Indy. We'll talk about the cool trend lingering into the weekend in a few minutes. Chris?
All right, let's turn to the Now newsfeed with President Trump's latest tariff hike on $200 billion of Chinese goods starting today. Now, China says that it plans to retaliate. The U.S. and China, they didn't reach an agreement during trade talks today. And you could end up seeing prices on clothing, car parts, electronics all be affected by this. Multiple film companies saying they will no longer work in Georgia because of the state's new abortion law. Now, this week, Georgia's governor signed a bill that bans abortion once a heartbeat's detected, which can be as early as 6 weeks. The Pentagon putting more than $1 billion towards border wall construction. The money's being taken from defense program savings, like one that supports the Afghan army. Pentagon already put $1 billion into border wall work back in March. Well, today we're looking into an idea that could help people who rely on credit cards save money. Annie Taylor's here with a proposal to limit how much we pay in interest.
So there are two Democrats. They just introduced a bill that would cap credit card interest rates at 15%. They're saying it's time for financial institutions to stop ripping off Americans. Now, according to creditcards.com, the average rate is almost 18%, but that's the low end if you have good credit. Most people pay around 21% interest and as high as 25%. Now, the idea is to protect low-income people who likely have lower credit scores from getting even deeper in debt. It's important to note that the bill won't likely pass anytime soon, so creditcards.com gave us 3 ways to lower your rate right now, including negotiating. They found 7 in 10 people who asked for a lower interest rate got one.
It helps if you come armed with offers that you've seen either at a comparison site like creditcards.com, or maybe you got a letter in the mail offering you a new card. If you say, hey, I saw this other card that's offering 15%, can you match it? I think your odds of success are pretty good.
Another suggestion, get a 0% balance transfer card. That lets you transfer a balance from a higher rate card to one that you pay no interest on for 15 to 21 months. And look for ones that come without a transfer fee. And check credit unions. Creditcards.com says they tend to have lower rates, like 7 to 9% on cards.
All right, Andy, thank you. Let's get back to our lineup here on The Now. And with low pay, teachers are struggling to afford to live in our communities. But there is one nonprofit that's now stepping in to make owning a home for them a reality.
Keller and Keller.
Welcome back to The Now Indy on RTV6. A major investment in a West Side neighborhood today. The city leaders hope makes the community stronger. Indianapolis' first newly constructed minority-owned and operated funeral home opened today in the 1100 block of West 30th Street. Lloyd Sproul and Lori Hobbs are the owners. Sproul Funeral and Cremation Care this morning. Now, the two have a combined 20 years serving the community. The $1.2 million funeral home is located steps from Clifton Square Apartments, an $11 million mixed-use affordable housing development that opened in 2015.
This section of our city, West 30th Street, is not just seeing millions of dollars of investment. It is seeing the kind of investment that strengthens our community.
Sproul Funeral and Cremation Care says it will open its doors to the community. Space will be available to groups and organizations, and the chapel can live stream services for people unable to physically attend services.
For a lot of school teachers across the country, buying a home, it can be out of reach. But Annie Taylor's introducing us to one company helping teachers make the dream of owning a home a reality.
From Midland, Texas, to Denver, Colorado, fourth grade teacher Julian Carcamo saw owning a home again as just a dream.
We had a big lawn, and now we had to an apartment, and we couldn't even get a dog, or it was a culture shock.
On a teacher's salary in a high-priced area, living and teaching in the same school district wasn't feasible. Until he heard about Landed.
We work together with school districts, sort of let them know that it exists.
Paula Davis with Landed says the nonprofit organization invests alongside teachers to make owning a home a reality.
We hope that with that help, they can build roots and stay committed to those communities and those professions.
Here's how Landed works. Teachers find their dream home. Once they qualify for a mortgage, Landed partners with them by splitting half the cost of the down payment. Their dream home becomes their real home, never having to pay Landed a monthly fee or interest.
In exchange for that help, they pay us back plus or minus a chunk of the appreciation or depreciation when they sell the home down the line.
And teachers must stay working in their district for 2 years to prevent turnover. More educators leave schools because they can't afford rent in their district. Take San Francisco, where the annual teacher turnover rate is around 12%, which leaves 400 classrooms vacant each school year. This is according to a Stanford University survey.
I've been in schools where we've lost 50% of the teachers, and then the relationship with the community goes down. Kids look for stability. Sometimes the school is the only place where they can find stability.
Landing a home is a win-win for both Julian's family and his students.
Down the road, I can stay, and having a place where my son can grow up, which is really, really important for me.
I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
All right, Annie, thank you. Let's get back to our lineup here. And there's a new push to change skyscrapers in cities across the country, how their designs and lights could be putting wildlife in danger.
Tuna.
Let's get the Now News feed started. Chobani Yogurt is picking up the tab for some Rhode Island students that had outstanding lunch bills. The company gave close to $80,000. The Warwick School District came under fire this week for threatening to serve only cold sandwiches to students with lunch debts. Now, they reversed that policy after some backlash from the public. Scientists, they say they've discovered a new dinosaur. This one has wings like a bat. Yeah, imagine this thing flying around. This is what researchers think it looked like. This fossil, all of this stemming from a fossil in China they found that they believe is 163 million years old. I want you to take a look at this yearbook picture. It's making a lot of people smile today. In Arkansas High School, including a canine resource officer in its yearbook. The pic of Canine Maya, it is making its way around social media on this Friday. Well, Care.com is overhauling its screening process after a Wall Street Journal investigation found the website wasn't properly vetting caregivers on its site. Now, some individuals had police records and facilities that were listed as being licensed actually weren't. Care.com says that it will now pay for background checks for caregivers and list the date when it was performed. You're going to start seeing those changes in the next few months. New research says the inside of an Uber or Lyft, you're going to be thinking about this one if you get into one this weekend, it's dirtier than a toilet seat. Yeah, insurance company NetQuote found average rideshare vehicles have about 219 times as many germs as the average taxi and more germs than rental cars as well. Most of the bacteria is harmless. It's in places people do touch a lot, as you expect, like window buttons and seat belts.
Wiping down the Uber next time I get into one. Well, thank you, Chris. Wine, Wags, and Whiskers. It sounds like a good time, doesn't it? Tomorrow you can attend this 11th annual event in Noblesville to benefit the Humane Society of Hamilton County. This fundraiser includes a silent auction, live music, food, and wine, plus dogs and cats that are looking for a loving home. The Humane Society says the money raised will help them give more than 3,100 animals who will pass through their doors this year the chance to love and be loved. Wine, Wags, and Whiskers is Saturday at 6:30 in the evening at the Embassy Suites in Noblesville. Tickets are $95 at the door. Kyle.
Sounds like a perfect way to spend a cool Saturday here in central Indiana, especially as we're going to have some showers, so maybe some indoor activities. We are going to look at your forecast for the track as well. 52 right now, that northwest breeze between 5 and 10 miles per hour. And as we go into the overnight hours, we'll gradually clear out those clouds a little bit. Temperatures dropping down to around 40 degrees. So here's TrueCast, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yeah, we're going to have some clouds around, but the showers should still be largely over into Illinois. Then as we go into the early afternoon, by 4 o'clock, you start to see some pockets of heavier rain over the western and northwestern portions of central Indiana. So that doesn't really line up too well for being out there at the Grand Prix. I think we will have to deal with some rain, but as we get into tomorrow evening, still we see an increase in coverage of those rain showers and more coming our way overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. So here's a look at the forecast. 9 a.m. tomorrow, mostly cloudy, 48 degrees for us. We'll get into the lower 60s, but you notice as we get past 1 o'clock, we start to increase those rain chances just a little bit. Temperatures will be better tomorrow than where we were today. We'll get back into the lower 60s. That's still not where we should be for this time of year. And actually, we'll fall back again on Sunday for Mother's Day. We're going to find those temperatures into the mid-50s for highs, some scattered showers out there as well. Checking out the next 4 days of your forecast here. Temperatures begin to moderate next week after a cool high on Monday of 59. Just an isolated shower in your forecast there. Looking a whole lot better by Tuesday. The sunshine returns, and so do some warmer temperatures. A high of 65. Chris?
Now, big skyscrapers you see in cities across the country, just like this one, well, they're apparently a big problem for birds. The Now's Nicole Vowell explaining why and the push by one group to make some changes in big cities across the U.S.
Before the bustle begins and before the sun rises, this street in downtown Chicago is calm.
All right, off we go.
A calm 5 a.m. That's when Annette Prince and her team start their day.
I'll give you a call if I get anything on the hotline. They keep it before sunrise until early morning. We have people out in teams of anywhere from 8 to 15 people.
7 days a week during the months of May and October.
You have to check every little corner and shadowed area where they might either be hiding or hard to even spot.
During bird migration seasons, this daytime speech pathologist is on the move and on bird watch.
Oh, this is a brown thrasher. These birds live in rainforests and wild areas up north in Canada. They don't experience buildings and glass very much. So this is like them coming into a very alien environment where they can't figure out what's going on, and they very easily get hurt.
Each year, around 5,000 birds are injured or killed, colliding into Chicago's glassy, reflective skyscrapers.
All the dead birds are collected so that they can be documented as to what kind of bird is coming through Chicago.
Prince and the Chicago bird monitors are aiming to lessen that number.
So any kind of external screening.
They're urging Chicago officials to pass an ordinance, more bird-friendly building designs, and pushing cities around the U.S. to turn lights out at night.
We are #1 in the amount of urban lighting we put out.
Less light and glass means fewer birds to collect.
It's estimated that there's 1 billion birds a year that are killed at windows, and with huge concentrations in cities like Chicago.
Something Prince says will benefit us all in the long run.
They're citizens of the world, and we're protecting birds that are critical to ecosystems throughout the globe. There are a lot of problems in the environment that you can't fix, and this is something that we can fix. There are things you can do to make buildings safe, and in the end, protect these birds that are so valuable to us.
In Chicago,
we're going to go across the street.
I'm Nicole Vowell reporting.
All right, Nicole, thank you. Let's turn to the Now news feed, and Chelsea Manning's now out of jail. She was in custody for more than a month for refusing to testify before a grand jury about WikiLeaks. Now, that grand jury's term is over. Now, the government says they've already subpoenaed her again for a new grand jury that'll begin. A pharma giant now donating drugs that reduce the risk of HIV. The Trump administration saying that Gilead Sciences will give the drugs to up to 200,000 people through 2025. The drug usually sells for up to $2,000 a month here in the United States. Uber making its Wall Street debut today. The company's value actually came in a little bit lower than expected, even though it was still $82 billion. Some rideshare drivers across the country protested this week, demanding they get minimum wage. Well, how about this story? A DNA test kit reuniting a woman with her birth mom for the first time since she was adopted in 1977.
Like, I just couldn't wait. You know, I just couldn't wait to get my arms around her.
You know, I've always been told by my mom who raised me that I'm a strong-willed, independent woman. And I always believed that I got that from my birth mother.
Yeah, what a story here. That woman says that she got the DNA test kit from her adoptive mother for Christmas. She was able to use it to track down her mom, who was just 18 when she decided that adoption was the best for her child. Well, Dog Mom Day, that is now officially a holiday. It's Saturday, and this is the petition right here, an online one that a lot of people signed to make it officially a national holiday. Remember, Mother's Day, that's on Sunday. Well, Dig, a dating site for dog owners, made all of that official. And obviously that sounds like something that's harmless to celebrate, right? But there are some people that have issues with it. Oprah posting a photo in 2017 with a woman who had her dogs in a stroller. Now, Oprah wished Happy Mother's Day to, quote, mothers of all varieties of children. Many people commented, though, saying that owning a pet, that just does not compare to raising a human child, which, let's face it, that very well may be true, but people do take owning their pets really seriously. There was a poll by Rover showing 3 out of 4 women who own a dog, they consider themselves dog moms, and many of them consider their dog as their child. A quarter of dog moms, they also consider themselves helicopter pet parents, so that's not just for humans, which means they are very involved in their dogs' lives. A quarter of them also saying that they have missed work to take care of a sick dog. All right, finally in our lineup today, look, we have really just all become so attached to our phones these days that we probably don't even think twice about it when you pull it out at a restaurant. But we're going to show you how restaurants are trying to stop us from doing that this Mother's Day.